All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another round of Big Timers Podcast. First episode of 2021. I got big timers joining me today. Since there's no other basketball besides NBA and college basketball, the only people we got playing right now are Division I women's ball players, such as my guest here today, Anna DeWolfe, Fordham University, formerly of Greeley. Anna, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So as we were talking before we started up here, before the screw up, back on campus, right? You just had your little winter break, went home for a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And just cleared COVID, right? Just got your COVID test. So you're clear to return back to practice. But the one thing I was going to ask you earlier before we got messed up a little bit, you mentioned you had a 3-hour practice today. You have to sit there and watch a 3-hour practice. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. We have this thing called Key Motion. That's just a camera in our gym that allows anyone to watch live. So my coach just sent me the username and password for that. So I was able to tune in.
Your thoughts on 3-hour practices? You a fan? You okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, usually some days they feel a lot longer than other days, but we get a lot done in them. So
if you had the choice, you prefer a quick, efficient practice, you like the 3-hour practice. I know you're a gym rat, so 3 hours in the gym probably isn't a big deal for you, right?
I think it really depends on the day. Some days 3 hours can feel very long. Some days it goes really, really quick. And then other days we obviously have film and scout, so that takes up like an hour and a half. So then we're only on the court for like another hour and a half. So it's really not that bad some days. But yeah.
All that time's paying off though, because you're off to a great start. Averaging 23 a game, top 20 in the country in scoring, with almost double the output you were putting out last year. So what's been the biggest difference for you this year? I mean, I saw one of the games, I forgot who you guys were playing, but you had like the first 7 points and like 20 in the first half, and it just looked like you get anywhere you wanted to. So what's been the biggest difference from year one to year two for you?
I think just having a year under my belt is the biggest thing. I've been obviously here. I was obviously here last year. Just having more confidence in myself and being that person that my team goes to. I think my teammates do a great job setting me up, obviously, and my coach having confidence in me with the ball in my hands. I really think the biggest thing is just having confidence in myself. It's where I've grown a lot in the last year.
Yeah, you feel just a lot more comfortable out there. I mean, it must feel kind of like being back at Greeley and just having the ball in your hands and like the confidence. Everyone's got confidence. You kind of do what you want, and kind of looks like that's what the situation is right now for you in terms of the feel for the game you have.
Yeah, definitely. I think my team does a really, really good job of finding the open player. I think whoever's hot is always the one going to get the ball. And if that's me on that night, then my teammates know to give me the ball. And I know if someone else is hot, it's my job to return the favor and give them the ball. So I think we work really well in that aspect of the game.
And teams must be catching on because you're probably becoming the more of the focal point for teams playing it against you, right? So I'm guessing you're starting to see things you didn't see last year, right? In terms of defensive attention and stuff like that.
Yeah. Last game against Albany, I had someone literally right in my face the entire time. So that was adjustment. And then same with the Stony Brook game. Actually, honestly, all games I have had someone right in my face the whole time. But I think it's really important to just stay composed and just let the game fall out. And if it's not my time to get the ball, then it's not. So, yeah.
What's it been like so far? Because I mean, obviously, season got cut short early last year, so you didn't get really a chance to finish things up. You come back to campus in a COVID environment and no fans in the crowd. Like, what's it been like in this environment versus last year?
I think actually I've been asked this multiple times. My biggest thing that I always talk about is like last year we were cut short, so I feel like the motivation and the competitiveness this year was a lot more like up there. I think when we got back to campus, we were just so excited to just be on the court. I think everyone was just extra competitive. So I feel like that boosted us to get to our first game. And I know we were practicing for a while before we had our first game, which is usual, but I just felt like longer this time because practices started in quarantine. So it was finally really like, it just was way more special to play our first game, to beat up on someone else besides our own teammates in our scout squad. So it was a lot of fun getting on the court. And my coach always says before we play any game, it's like we've already won one game because we get the chance to play. We get the chance to play, so we've already won. So I really go into every game just like being grateful that I get to play the game that I'm about to play and just leave it all out there.
So whenever you're in the zone, people say like you don't notice anyone else in the gym. It's like it's just you and the ball and the hoop, right? But right now, like that's literally the case. Like there's you and your teammates, but like nobody else in the crowd. Like, do you even notice that? Like not having fans out there?
Yeah, it's actually funny though. Like I know Fordham, since we've had a few home games and we've had one away game, we do this weird thing where they like have like animated like fans like clapping
Yeah.
and sounds, and it's just so weird. It just is like you guys are just trying too hard. I feel
Yeah.
like it's weird. But I know all my family and a lot of friends are watching, so I feel like I play for them, obviously.
I'm guessing you have no problems getting up for games. Like you just, from the last time I had you on and just talking to you, like you're obviously like a huge, huge competitor. So I'm guessing like you don't need a crowd there, right? Like you get yourself worked up and just being able to compete. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So can you please explain to me what this process is like? Because you mentioned you had to get cleared today before you return back to practice because you traveled. So what's this like in this COVID environment? Like how often are you guys getting tested? Like when you guys travel, like what's the routine? Like it must be just completely the not norm. I'm guessing
Yeah.
restrictions and stuff like that in terms of what you can do, what you can't do. Like what's it like right now, like traveling, for example?
We only bus to Quinnipiac, which is only like, I think the rule for us was at a conference, we could only bus to where we were going. So we tried to stay safe because for New York rules, the reason why our Davidson game was home and instead of, because it was supposed to be away at Davidson, but the reason it was home was because our rule in New York is if you leave New York, you have to return within 24 hours of it.
Oh,
And that I guess there's like a waiver that you end up that can be passed like later on, but it hadn't been passed yet, so we had to change it to a home game, which I'm sure Davidson wasn't very happy about. But that was the case. They came to us and was unfortunately not a very good game for us. But it's crazy. We're getting tested 3 times a week. We get temperature checked every day before we do anything. We have surveys that we have to fill out about how we're feeling, and if anyone feels off or just has a headache or anything, you have to stay in your room until you get tested, until you see a negative test. Literally any symptom. I could have like a tiny cough and we would have to sit out. But I guess it's just better being safe than sorry, obviously.
so you're a self-proclaimed gym rat. You love being in the gym, right? Love just being in there by yourself at times if need be. Can they keep you out of the gym right now? Like, are you able to go and like get the work? And like, if you want to get extra shots up and stuff like that, like, do you still have that ability? Or they're like, no, like we're just
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been working out with my coaches every day, just getting shots up and everything before every game, before every practice. So that's been really helpful. Just getting reps up. But yeah, I can definitely get in the gym whenever I want.
I would hope so, because if you're kind of restricted to your room for classes and
Oh
you
my
can't really
gosh,
do much
yeah,
else, right? Like campus life must just be non-existent.
exactly.
So we talked earlier, like we talked early in the summer. So one thing I want to bring up is I think I saw you in a run this summer. Did you go play? There was a bunch of college girls that went to play with a bunch of high school girls. I think it was at XL.
Yeah,
And
at Excel.
what do you remember most about that? And who won? Because I don't even know who won the game. Was it? I'm guessing you girls, your team did all
Yeah,
right.
we actually mixed in the college players with the high school players to give them more experience. It was a lot of fun. Abby and Lauren put that on for all of us, and they were telling us, don't go easy on them either. Let them know what college basketball is all about. And I know Mackenzie and I were like doing everything we could to make sure it was like really hard and just enjoyable. I mean, it's nothing like people that obviously look up to us and just being great role models for them. So I thought it was something that I'm very thankful for when I was home, because it gave me obviously time to be in the gym and just be with my friends and play the sport that we love.
You mentioned being a role model, so there's definitely a lot of girls that are looking up to you, seeing you do great things over there at Fordham. But did you see any girls in that game? Any girls that kind of stood out to you, like that next wave? Was there anyone that kind of stood out in your mind, like okay, like this one right here could be
Um,
the next one?
what's the girl's name from Wells? I think it's
Ramsdale?
yes, yeah, she stood out to me. She was really good. And then there was a few like really young girls, like 7th graders or 8th graders that I honestly don't remember their names, but I think as long as they obviously work hard and put their mind to it, they can be great players.
Yeah, you mentioned Mackenzie by name, who's also doing good things. Like pretty much everyone who's playing, like everyone who's out there right now is getting minutes at these programs and
Mhm.
stuff like that. What can you say about you and your girls? What can you say about the girls that are currently doing it in Maine?
I mean, usually when we talk to each other, it's very little about basketball. It's
Yeah.
usually just checking in with each other, making sure we're okay and enjoying ourselves and still obviously love the sport that we're playing, because, college basketball can be very tough at times. But I usually try to stay away from the basketball talk. I usually just try to check in on my friends, make sure that they're doing all right and hanging in there, especially during the holidays, because I know Mackenzie wasn't able to go home, and that can be really tough, especially on the mental side of everything. So we usually try to just check in and tell them maybe a song that we've listened to that we really like or something cool like that. But yeah, definitely staying in touch with all my AAU teammates is really important to me.
And you're going to be playing against one of them in a couple of weeks, right? So when things kick back up, you guys play George Washington and Face down there, right? So you guys are going to be matching up. Is that a home game for you guys, or you guys?
Yeah, it's a
traveling
home
there?
game for us. They're coming to us on the 3rd. Yeah.
You guys started talking back and forth. Do you guys talk trash to each other? Because
We will when it gets a little closer. I usually try not talk before the game, usually after if it goes well.
it's gotta be cool though, right? Because I mean, it's not something that happens every day where you get to play. You know, you're playing at the highest level, and you're going to play against one of your former AAU teammates, one of your friends, and it's got to be kind of special.
Definitely. GW and Fordham have always been rivals. It was funny when we committed. My parents had already planned to go down with the Blethens to travel to New York to watch us play, which was really special. And I got to the day of our GW game, I actually went out to eat with the Blethens. They took me out the night before, and Faith was so jealous because she wasn't allowed to leave her hotel because she was with her team, and she was like, "Come on, like you can't take Anna out and not take me out." But yeah, it was really fun. And then actually in the game, I was guarding Faith, and that height difference is pretty funny. But yeah, it was super special, and obviously on the court, we're gonna go head to head, but off the court, I know she's one of my best friends and love her to death. So
Who won that game last time?
we did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other games on the schedule looking ahead that you're looking forward to? I'm guessing conference play is got to be kicking up pretty much right after New Year's, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I honestly just get excited for any game, especially now with COVID. Like I said earlier, you just be thankful you can be on the court because a lot of teams, a lot of games have been canceled. Um, I'm excited for a lot of them. They should all be pretty good.
And you were a preseason pick for, I think they picked you up for 13 preseason all conference, and it's looking like a
Thanks.
huge mistake, right? Looking like a huge mistake right now. Where was Fordham picked preseason in the
We were
conference?
tied. We were in like a three-way tie for 4th.
Okay.
Well, we lost our highest scorer.
I heard. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that in the last game. So
Yeah.
more shots for you, more points for you, and so far, right?
Mhm.
But who was picked to win the league?
VCU.
Okay. And what are the realistic goals for you guys? Yeah, I'm guessing conference championship, right?
Definitely. I think a lot of people, I mean, my coach always says preseason means nothing. I mean, obviously we can congratulate the people that were picked and everything and the standards and everything, but it's preseason. Anything can happen, especially injuries, COVID, being shut down. We've been very lucky with not being shut down. Actually, coach's husband tested positive, so coach had to self-isolate for 14 days, which was really weird without having your biggest leader at practice or during our games. So that was a challenge that was our way, but we all stayed together and stayed positive through it. So we got through it. So honestly, I mean, the preseason, they can pick us, but pick whoever they want. But obviously, whoever shows up those days is the most important part of it.
Yeah, and I'm guessing in terms of just how often you play, it's going to ramp up too, right? So you guys have only played 5 games so far. Normally, you guys have probably been
Yeah.
10 games deep.
Yeah, exactly.
So once conference play starts up, it's probably going to be at least a game a week. Are you guys doing like home and home?
Friday, Sunday.
Friday, okay.
Friday, Sunday, yeah. So especially if we're traveling, we'll travel Thursday, practice wherever we're playing Thursday, and then sleep over, and then play Friday, and then right after our game, we'll either leave right after the game or we'll leave the next day to bus to wherever we're going.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But okay.
How's life besides that though? I mean, you're in an exciting city and you probably can't do much right now, right? So right now it's pretty much just hoops and school, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the life, basketball is everything. It's been kind of difficult. I mean, we can't really go off campus much or explore the city just with everything going on. But like I said, we've done a really, really good job of just like staying true to like not doing anything besides what we're supposed to be doing. And that's why we've had success of not being shut down or anything.
I like it. So what can we expect second half of the season here from you? We're going to expect the same level of output you're putting out now, or what can we expect? What are your, like, we talked about the team goal, but what's your individual goal here? I don't think we talked last time about individual goals heading into the season. If we did, I forgot. But what do we got for goals here before the end of the year?
I'm a very big, I set a lot of goals, but I've set a lot of very like, not simple goals, but goals that I can go into every practice thinking about like my practices. I go in thinking about boxing out on every single possession. That's one area that I really struggle on. Just boxing out, don't get out tough, dive on every loose ball. And just being grateful just for having every opportunity that I have, just especially with COVID, you know, you could be shut down tomorrow. You have no idea what tomorrow looks like. And I think my biggest goal is just really not taking anything for granted. I know you're trying to like get like a specific, like 1,000 points or
No,
something like that.
I mean, I was thinking for you, like, I'm thinking you like, I'm guessing like field goal percentage. Like, I'm guessing that's something you kind of, that's gotta be a goal. Like, I'm thinking stuff
I
like
mean,
that, right?
I like, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't really think about like that. I just, at the end of the day, I just want to win.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I'll do. If that's putting up however many shots I take in a game or making however many shots. I mean, obviously that playing well is a big goal. Just
Yeah.
being happy with my performance. But playing hard is like one of the biggest things that I in controlling the things that you can control, like your energy and your effort, is a really big thing for me. So coming to practice with that attitude, I mean, you'll have great success with that if you just control the things you can control.
It's paying off so far, right? Are you a huge film person?
Yeah, I watch a lot of film of myself and just other people that I'm playing against. I know we watch film as a team against who we're going to be playing, but I'll sit down before the game and watch every clip of my own person that I'm playing against and how they move on defense and then how they move on offense if I'm guarding them. So yeah, I do actually watch a ton of film.
Now that you have access to the practice footage, are you going to be locked in your room just watching practice footage now?
We just got this new thing. I don't really know the name of it, but it breaks down everything for you and your own games too. So yeah.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. So I've only seen one game so far, but like I said, it was a game you went off on in the first half. So it was a little bit of everything. Like, you just gave them literally everything. You're undersized. There's no shame in that, right? There's no hiding that. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm guessing when you go to the hole, right, there's nothing more gratifying than finishing over a big person, right? So either like a teardrop or like a left hand or something off the glass. So, you know, for most people, going to the hole and dunking on somebody, that's how they want to finish. But obviously you don't have that luxury, neither do I. So what's like your way of like posterizing someone? If you can't dunk them, like what's your ideal finish to kind of like demoralize a big person in the paint?
I mean, I don't, you said you watched one game. I don't know about that game, but I've been drilling in step backs and I've actually gotten a lot better at step backs and a little fadeaway, a little like close fadeaway. I'll look up like I'm going on my right side and I'll turn back around. I've drilled that one in. I'm getting pretty good at it, actually. I've used it a few times, a little more confident with it. But I definitely have been using that a lot more than I have in the past. And like you said, just being undersized, you have to be crafty in the paint or else it's not going to go well. And then I also think it's really important to notice that, like, if I am in the paint, everyone's just looking to block my shot. There's 4 people around me. Someone's got to be open. So if I can't make the move, then someone's got to be open because I usually dump about all their players on me if I get in the paint. So someone's got to be open to knock down a shot.
I'm excited to watch. I got ESPN Plus now, so every game that's on there, I'm watching. I'm watching all the girls from Maine. Anytime someone's on, I'm watching this. I'll be watching a lot here the second half of the season. And for ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't seen Anna play or haven't seen any footage of her, Trophy Mo put out a mix like 3 weeks ago from her high school days. Go check out that. That's a good little taste of what she's capable of, and she's only getting better. So go check that out if you haven't seen that yet. Anna, anything else before we get up out of here? Anything you want to touch on? Did I miss anything?
No, thank you for doing this.
Oh, real quick too. You were picked in the fantasy draft. Do you think you were picked too high, too low? What were your thoughts on the fantasy draft?
I mean, I respect for staying loyal. I watched that part. And then obviously Mackenzie. I think it was fine.
Yeah, your team was stacked. Your team won.
Was stacked.
The fans voted for your team.
We'd win all the way.
Yeah, so you guys were stacked. It was a great team.
Yep, I'd go to battle with them.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got. We just wanted to check in with Anna and see what's going on. We're gonna do it again at the end of the season too. We're kind of like halfway through the school year, so we just wanted to check in and see how things are going. And we wish you nothing but the best second half of the season here, and hopefully some more A10 Player of the Week awards, some all conference awards, and hopefully a conference championship. And maybe you'll meet up with somebody else in the NCAA tournament from Maine down the road here.
Yeah,
and that'd be a really cool possibility too, right? It could happen.
Could happen.
Shout out to Anna for coming through. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, keeping things moving on big time here with the first episode of 2021, and I'm bringing in another big timer. We got Anna DeWolfe on earlier. Now we got Mackenzie Holmes with the 20th ranked team in the country, the Indiana Hoosiers, coming from Bloomington tonight. Didn't come home for the holidays, right, Mackenzie? You were stuck out there.
Yeah, like between the Big Ten and our school, they decided it was going to be the safest option if we just stayed in Bloomington and continued testing like normal for the holidays. We were able to have some days off, which was nice for sure, but it was tough not being able to go back to Maine for a few days.
What's a Hoosier Christmas like? What's a Hoosier basketball Christmas like?
Yeah, so they tried to keep us busy as much as they could, like with stuff to do. So Christmas Eve, some of us hung out together, and then Christmas Day we did like a Secret Santa with our teammates. So they fed us dinner and we hung out for a while as a team, which was really nice to do.
And a little break, right? You guys started up conference play before the holidays, right? You guys had a game or two. You guys played Minnesota and might have been someone else before that.
Yeah. So we started conference play. Oh, geez, I don't know when it was now, but we played Nebraska in our first conference game, and then we turned around a couple days later and played Minnesota at Minnesota. So it was nice to get a couple games and especially a road game under our belt before we got that little break. And because now it really starts to speed up for sure. We don't have much time in between games. It's usually 1 or 2 games, or a game and then 1 or 2 days, and the game in 1 or 2 days. So it was good for us to get a couple under our belt.
And you got to play more games like non-conference than a lot of these other schools. Like some of these schools still haven't even played a game, and you guys had what, like 5 or 6 games before you start conference play?
Yeah, we had four non-conference games, I believe. We should have had 5, but one of them got canceled due to COVID. Butler was supposed to be a game that we had that got canceled, which was tough. But we were super thankful to even have a non-conference because, like you said, some teams didn't even get that opportunity.
So last year, you guys kind of made some program history in terms of where you guys got in the rankings and stuff like that. And you came into this season being ranked. So it's kind of a different mentality, or just teams coming at you differently with you guys being ranked and a team to kind of watch. What has that been like for you? Just having that extra attention when these teams come and play you guys now?
Yeah, I know. We definitely know that there's like a target on our back when we go into gyms. We know teams wanna come and they want to beat us, but we try to like not look at the polls and not pay attention to the rankings because they change week to week, and we know that they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. What matters is like what happens in March, of course, and what leads up to that. So the rankings don't really we try not to let them have an effect on how we go into practices or games for sure.
You played some pretty cool games though to kick the season off, right? I don't know if you guys know when I play Kentucky, but that's a rivalry, right? Indiana, Kentucky.
A little bit. I don't know when the last time they played each other was. I think our biggest rival would be Purdue, which is a Big Ten matchup, but they're another Big Ten team in Indiana. But Kentucky was really cool to be able to go to their gym and play there for sure. They're a really good team, and I think it was good experience for us going into Big Ten play because we're going to be facing good teams every single night. So it was a nice little precursor to that.
Tough loss though, right? I mean, you guys had that game. Should have had that game won. I was watching that one. That seems like one that kind of slipped away from you guys right there. I'm guessing a learning experience though, right?
Yeah, exactly. You said it the best. It was the fact that it was tough in the moment, but like the fact that we let it slip away like we did, and we still were really close to them, and we didn't play our best basketball down the stretch, and we were still really close to them, I think kind of spoke volumes about what we're capable of. And like you said, it's a learning experience. So we got back and we watched film and learned from our mistakes that we made. And I think that it'll definitely, playing in a game like that will have a great benefit for us down the road.
And you mentioned Big Ten play kicking off here, and no shortage of good teams in the conference, right? Let's see, Maryland ranked, you guys ranked.
I think that just like said today, like this is the most teams on the women's side, at least, that Big Ten has ever had ranked. I think 6 of our teams in the Big Ten are ranked right now, which is crazy. And like it says, like no night, and the other teams besides the ones that are ranked, of course, are great teams. And it's always a battle against every team we play. So I think just it shows the level of competition that we face day in and day out.
Northwestern, Michigan State, you guys, and then of course Ohio State, and of course my beloved Michigan Wolverines, which is a game I'm looking forward to on February 18th. That'll be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great teams to Big Ten this year. There always are, but this year for sure, there's a lot of great teams in competition.
So you mentioned that things kind of ramp up here after New Year, where you guys will be playing a lot more often. Do you think having a shorter non-conference schedule is gonna maybe hurt you guys with so many games turning around quickly once conference play comes around, or do you think you guys are good to go?
I think that it's definitely to our benefit that we have a lot of returners. So a lot of people who know what the grind of Big Ten play is like. So I think that's definitely a benefit of us. Like we have uh, two seniors starting, two juniors starting, and I'm a sophomore. But I was able to get a taste of Big Ten play last year, all the way up until the conference tournament. So I think that the fact that we have a lot of veterans coming back is a huge benefit for us because we all know what it's like once things start to pick up.
And for you personally, it's got to be exciting because you didn't get a chance to play in a Big Ten tournament last year, the NCAA tournament. So you're still chasing that for the first time this year. That's got to be something you're kind of anxious to kind of get to and work towards, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely one of those things that we got to take it one day at a time because it's shown that nothing's promised right now. So just each game we get is very is a blessing, honestly, because there's some teams like you said that aren't even playing right now. So just getting the chance to play during a pandemic is a huge blessing and a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't get the chance to do.
What has been the biggest change for you from last year to this year? I mean, last year you had a great freshman year, all Big Ten rookie team, and then this year leading the team in scoring. What's been the biggest difference for you?
I think are you talking about the biggest adjustment or in what aspect are you talking about?
Things just easier this time around. I'm guessing the experience, but I mean, also if anyone who saw you last year to this year, there's been a physical transformation, looking lean and mean and just beating every big down the floor. So there's been a transformation. What's been like the biggest change in you personally that's led to this increase in production, just everything that's going on right now?
Yeah, I think it's just the time that I put in during the off season has really benefited me. Spending a lot of time, working on my conditioning and working on strength training, quickness to try to be the best player I can be when I get on the court. I'm able to stay in the game for longer stretches of time than I was last year. And, I feel like I'm getting, up a little bit more when I make my post moves or when I'm getting rebounds or, blocking shots. So I think that honestly, defensively, I feel like last year I felt like sometimes I could be a little bit of a liability on that end. But I think this year, the fact that I'm quicker has been able to put me in a better position to be helpful on the defensive end, which is something I really made a goal for myself this year. And, offensively, I just keep doing what I've been doing. And, I work a lot on finishing quick finishes because I saw a little bit of a double team starting Big Ten play, which was something that, I haven't seen since high school. So just getting adjusted to that again for sure is probably the biggest change or difference that I've seen.
Yeah, because I talked to Anna earlier and I was, I basically asked her the same question. I said, like, this is probably the first time since high school that teams are actually probably game planning for you and you're getting different attention than you saw last year. Like, what's that like for you? Do you welcome it? You're like, yes, like, I feel like I'm back in high school. Like, do you like that extra attention or is there an adjustment period to it?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm like, sure they can double me, but then I'm going to go kick it out to Jalen Penn, who I know is going to hit a three, or I can kick it out to one of my guards who I know is going to hit a three. So I think just having I'm like, sure, go ahead. I'll get a wide open shot for somebody else that is going to hit that. And that's 3 points. So I kind of welcome it in that way, but just kind of getting readjusted to that again is something it's coming back to me. But I think just getting readjusted to it was probably the toughest part.
You're right-handed, right? You can shoot right-handed.
Yes, I had to think about
You
that.
finish
Yes,
so wonderfully around there with your left hand. Which hand do you feel more natural with? I feel like I see you go to your left, like finish with your left one, then you're right around the hoop.
Yeah. I love using my left hand. I try to do that if I can. I feel like teams have caught on to that, so they like to. But I can go right too. I feel like I get more elevation on my left side, and I feel like my touch is better with my left hand for whatever reason that might be. I'm like, should I just start shooting my jump shots left-handed? Like, I'm like, is it? Why am I still righty? But yeah, I don't know. It's always been like that for me since I've been in like 5th or 6th grade. I've just always had a better touch with my left hand.
Another thing too that I noticed, I watched a couple games now, and when I messaged you a while back, I brought this up. I feel like you beat every big down the court. Like, have you come across a big that has been faster than you so far? I feel like I've seen you get more fast break layups than some of your guards in your team and stuff like that. Like, do you attribute that to better conditioning, or is that just playing harder than the other team? Like, what's going on with all these fast break layups here?
I think that it's just something that like I've always ran the floor. I feel like that's something I've always made a part of my game is running the floor, and I couldn't do it as much in high school. I mean, I did my freshman year doing it in high school, but then my junior and senior year, sometimes I had to take the ball off the floor, and so I wouldn't do it as much then. But you know, I guess I just am like, okay, like, because sometimes you catch your defender sleeping or you catch other people sleeping, so you're like, okay, like, I'm tired and they're tired too, but like I can sprint this one last sprint. And so I just try my best to beat the defender down the floor. And usually I have a guard that's looking for me, and I'm like, just throw it. I'm like, just throw it past me and I'll run my hardest to go catch it. And then they trust me, which I'm super grateful for, that they trust me to throw it to me from that far back. But yeah, I think it's just something I really wanted to make a part of my game because it's different, and you know, I feel like it's an easy way to get our team a couple baskets throughout the course of the game.
Absolutely. So, I mean, most times when you see someone get a breakaway, like especially in the men's game, it's a dunk or a chance for them to do something nice and fancy with it. What can you start doing? If you're going to keep getting all these fast break layups, what can you add to it to make it a little bit more fun? Can you smack backboard? Can you smack glass? Can we start doing that?
I can hit glass. You know, the dunking's not there yet. So.
No, backboard smacks would be cool though. I feel like if you just start smacking glass.
I honestly, like, if I'm have that wide open of a layup, the last thing I want to do is trick it. So if I'm wide open, I'm just gonna take a normal layup. You know, nothing fancy. Nothing really fancy going into that. But if I get a wide open layup, I'll just take it for what it is. I don't want to trick it and then get in trouble for it, trying to be cute and do something funky.
Maybe that's something you could work on next offseason and add to your game. You know.
Yeah. I'll work on dunking it for next season.
Not even dunk. I just think some backboard smacks. I think that would be like a great addition to the game right there. You just start smacking glass with two hands and.
Oh yeah, I don't know about two hands. I could probably get one hand up there, but.
But I mean, part of it too. Part of the reason for these fast break layups is you mentioned the work you put in this off season, right? So I've heard stories from different people in terms of what you did and how much weight you lost and stuff like that. Like. You could have easily been happy with the success you had your freshman year, came back and did the same thing all over again, but clearly busted your ass in the offseason. Like for those kids out there that don't quite understand what hard work is, like how hard did you work? Because I think last time we talked, it was early in the summer. So I don't quite know what you did over the summer, but like, what was your summer actually like?
Right. So I honestly, like, people think there's some like special or secret formula to doing like working hard and having success, but really there's nothing special that I do that's out of the ordinary. It's just, I've said it before, but consistency is a huge piece for me, and getting better every day, like not being complacent with anything, I think is the biggest part for me. So in the summer, I just like work super hard, but what that looked like was just working out every day, working on things that I wasn't as strong at, working hard during my conditioning workouts, because actually I was able to go to school for 6 weeks in the summer for strength and conditioning and basketball workouts. So I would do, we'd have Saturday and Sunday off, and I'd take one of those days to do extra conditioning or extra shooting, and just getting better every day, I think is a huge part. And I also started changing my diet around a little bit, which was I think really beneficial for me. It helped me lose some extra weight as well, which I think benefits my game for getting faster and stronger, and helps me put on muscle and just all those things. I didn't do anything special, just like I said, consistency every single day.
And hard work, right? Hard work does pay off.
Yeah, and it's easy for someone to work hard 2 days a week and be like, okay, yeah, like I did 2 days in a row of hard work, like don't I get a break? But I just have kind of trained myself to be focused on like getting better every single day. And I think that's like, once I did that, it made a huge difference.
What's life on campus been like for you? Is everything pretty much remote learning? You doing everything online and just going to play basketball? Is that pretty much the deal right now? You just going to Indiana to take classes in your room and then play basketball?
Yeah, honestly, I really just go from my apartment to our practice facility, and I had one in-person class 2 days a week for like 30 minutes. It wasn't anything crazy, but I just had those two classes. But really, it's just been I've been trying to be really careful. I don't want to put anybody, myself or anybody else, at risk for getting COVID. So I've just been super careful with that and mindful of that. But I've been staying busy with basketball and getting extra work in besides practice. And I think I've been able to keep myself busy throughout it all.
Yes, that's something that I asked Anna too. I was just wondering, like, if it was easier to get extra gym time in, or they pretty much like shutting that down. But it sounds like you probably get more opportunity to get extra work in right now, right?
Yeah. So after we test in the mornings, we're able to get access to the courts, which is nice. And before I would have to like work getting extra shots up around my class schedule, but now it's just kind of I can go in whenever I need to and balance that with my classes kind of on my own time, self-management, which has really been nice.
Yeah. And what's like the whole COVID testing thing like for you guys? How often do you guys get tested?
Every day, 7 days.
Oh, so it's like that's just like that's part of the everyday routine right there.
Yeah, and we've been doing it since beginning of October, maybe mid-October. Every morning we go over to our practice facility, get COVID tested, and then it's a antigen test, so it only takes 15 minutes to get the results back, and then we're clear for the day, which is really nice for sure.
So what's it look like for Big Ten play here? Are there any like restrictions in terms of travel? Like, is it going to be difficult, or can you pretty much play all your road games at the other team's place, or is there going to be some weird stuff going on in terms of how these games get played?
It's pretty much the same. Every school I think has different rules off of like Minnesota didn't allow any fans, but some Big Ten schools you can only it's like either family only or no fans. So some schools have family only, some schools have no fans. So I think that's the biggest difference. And then obviously we have to test when we get to the school that we're playing at, but that's nothing really new because all the Big Ten schools had the same testing protocols as us. But um, obviously we just like wearing your mask a lot and other than that it's really nothing that different, which is really nice.
Would you take the freshman experience when things were normal and you were playing with packed houses, but having to go to class and go that routine, or do you prefer this routine where it's pretty much knock my classes out whenever I can throughout the day, whenever I want, and then just play as much basketball as I want?
Oh, that's tough. I think I could pick and choose things from each year and put together like a perfect combination.
Yeah.
I really do miss having fans at games, so I miss that for sure, but I don't mind having online classes, so I think I could pick and choose, but I think not having fans is something that really has been kind of tough. We obviously create our own energy, but we're used to getting like 3 or 4 thousand fans a game at our home games, and I definitely miss having them there for sure.
Yeah, it's got to be tough too, because I mean, you guys kind of program on the rise in terms of what you guys accomplished that last year, and you come into this year hoping to exceed that, and you get the crowd or the fans excited about that, and then to not have them there, that's got to be like a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it is tough, and we have like a great fan base. Indiana is all about basketball. Um, so it's really tough because you create relationships with the people that you see at the games, and usually after games there's 20 minutes, and fans are welcomed on the court. You can talk with them, sign autographs, take pictures, whatever they want to do. But you just interacting with them is something that I really liked last year. Just seeing new faces and meeting people that supported us. So I really miss having that type of atmosphere for sure.
You guys are ready to go here for conference play. So what are the goals? I'm guessing it's conference championship, right? I'm guessing that's the goal, to win the conference, get to the NCAA tournament, and make some noise, right?
Yeah, of course, for sure. Just getting through, I think Big Ten play is honestly my biggest goal right now. Just knowing that nothing is promised right now. I know that a lot of schools in Maine are having a tough time. I was talking to Coach Berthium, and I actually just got off a Zoom talking with the girls basketball program there, kind of just about how everything is tough right now for them, and they find out pretty much the fate of their season this week, and what that's going to look like for them. So, yeah, I think just being grateful for what we have right now, because a lot of schools around the country aren't even able to play, which is crazy.
So I'm going to get you out of here on two questions here. So the first one was, we had the girls' fantasy draft a couple weeks ago. You were the second overall pick, drafted by your high school coach, Longworth. Your thought on the team you put together, were you satisfied with that, or do you think you could have went with some other players? What was your thought process on that?
Let me look at the team, because I remember some of the players. Did you post it?
Yeah, it's actually it might not be up anymore, but I can get it real quick here.
Okay. I think I remembered some of the players. I think I had Maggie Whitmore. No, I didn't. Who did I have? I don't even remember. You have to remind me of the names.
Team Lawn. So you, Maddie Hassan, Mia Rapola, Shannon Todd, Sophie Holmes, and Kaylee London.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough squad right there. A lot of size, which is definitely to our advantage for sure. I think I like that squad he put together. I'm not surprised at the names that he picked for sure. And I don't know, I would put our squad against a lot of other squads. There's a lot of talent on there for sure, a lot of deep talent too. So I think it would be interesting if that we could actually make that happen and have it be a real game.
Maybe we'll make something happen at some point here. I'm trying to get some things together here. Last question before I get you up out of here. So, all you girls that go and play D1 ball, you come home and you rock your gear and usually give some gear away and stuff like that, probably representing the school you play for. Indiana is famous for the little candy cane, called candy cane pants?
Candy stripes.
Candy stripe pants. Would you ever be caught back in Maine wearing those pants around?
Those are for game days only. Okay. Strictly game days. You can buy them. I actually bought my AAU coach a pair of the candy stripe pants. I don't know if he ever wears them, but I did get them for him. But I would not be caught wearing a pair of candy stripes outside of Assembly Hall.
Even when you're all done playing, you're back home or wherever you are down the road, even then, will you ever bust them out at any point in your life or just while you're in Bloomington?
Oh, geez. I can't say I would never, but I don't see myself putting them on other than before a game. They're hard to match with. So there's that, there's buttons on the side. So that makes them tough to wear, but maybe one day, who knows? Maybe if I got they have candy striped shorts. So maybe if I got myself a pair of candy striped shorts, I'd wear those, but not the pants, I don't think. I do love the pants though. They're very classy.
And since they have buttons, you're the type to just rip them off violently. You're the type that just goes and just rips them off.
Yes, because when we actually take them off is right before they announce starters and right before the start of the game. So it's when I'm at my most hype. So I think that's a good combination for sure.
Okay, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie Holmes joining us on Big Time, doing big things out there in Indiana and representing the state of Maine very well. Best of luck to you and the Hoosiers for the rest of the season. And you're making Maine proud, doing the things you're doing, and a great role model to everyone else out here in Maine who aspires to do great things. You're leading the way. You're a trailblazer. So congratulations to you so far, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season here. Oh, also, any last words? That's what I always do here before we go. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Oh, just that I'm thinking of everyone back home trying to get their season started. I know it's really tough for them, and I just am hoping and praying for the best for them. And I hope that whatever the outcome is that they can make the most out of it, and that, good times are coming, and just try to stay positive.
It's all we can do right now, right?
Right, exactly.
Anybody trying to check out some Indiana games, Big Ten Network got games on usually on Sundays. ESPN Plus has been a game changer for me. So that's something else I plug. If anyone's trying to watch Mackenzie play, Big Ten Network, or even ESPN, you've had a bunch of games on. So it's definitely out there for folks.
I think we play on ESPN too in a couple of weeks when we play Maryland, and then again when we play Northwestern. So you could look out for those for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, continuing catching up with some big timers as we kick off 2021 here on Big Time Hoops, the podcast. And we got Emily Esposito making a return to the podcast, and she put out a post today. It's almost game day. You've been waiting forever. You've been waiting 600 and something days. Game day in 5 days. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited, definitely nervous, but I mean, as I said earlier, it's like I've been doing this for 4 years now. So I think the nerves are good, but they're a little weird. Like this isn't new to me. So
Yeah. So I've had a couple other people as part of this episode, just checking in with them, and they've had a little bit of a different season thus far. They've been able to play some non-conference games. So you guys are going to be jumping straight into conference play. How difficult has it been, like staying motivated, like for an entire semester, like with no games, just practice? Like, has it been tough? What is this first semester been like?
it's been a challenge for sure. I mean, it's different in all aspects, but like we have a great coaching staff that motivates us every day. And like I said, for me personally, like I'm still learning stuff every day at practice. So like I can take all the days I need until tip off in terms of just like feeling comfortable. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we had you on back early in the pandemic, and it's been a little while. So for those that might not have caught that episode, let's go back into the timeline. So graduated from Gorham, went to Villanova, all Big East rookie team, and then it was a change in coaching staff, right? And then, or was it the style of play? I don't remember. It's been a while.
No, well, I transferred, and then the year after I left, there was a change in coaching staff.
Okay. So you transferred to BU, had to sit out a year, and here we are, right? That's basically the timeline. But it's been a little while since your last game.
Yes.
Okay. One thing I gotta ask here, because I saw it too on the same post you put up today, the number change, jersey number change. What's going on here? What led to the number change? That's a big deal.
I know. I've never, like, middle school, elementary, anytime I could get 23, that was the number because of Maya Moore and Michael Jordan. And then I came to BU and that wasn't a number available. And at the time I was kind of like, honestly, you know, maybe it's a good time to switch it up. So it could either be really bad or really good. But one of my former teammates from Nova, Janet Tucker, like she helped me through so much when I was there. And she's been like a big role model for me. So she was always 21. So I just picked up that number kind of like to play like her and just have that like remembrance of like how she played.
Okay. It's not a bad choice, but they're good number 2, 21. I like that. It's got a look to it. So, so what's different about BU? You had success at Nova, but here you're at BU and you're saying that you're still learning, and all the extra time has only been paid dividends because you have more to learn and you've been learning. So what's been the biggest change for you here at BU?
I mean, just like the style of play is a lot different. You know, Villanova is kind of like everyone, like even our posts are shooting threes. Everyone is getting out. It's break people down. It's very like freelance. Like you had 8 numbers at Nova and they all meant like a different cut or a screen or something like that. And you just call them out as you go. So it's like half the time you don't know what you're doing. So it's like, no way the defense knows what you're doing. And at BU, it's like much more structured, and you still have those read and react options, but it's just like I've never been great at like remembering all the plays. So that's why I say like the more time the better in terms of me learning them.
Okay. What about defensive principles? Well, is it a different defensive scheme at BU too? Because that's like a whole other thing, right? When you get to the D1 level, like schemes, it's just scheme. So defensively, what's this all about? Big difference?
Yeah, so that's the same thing too. Now that you say that, at Nova we forced middle, and like when I played Firecrackers, we were huge. Like it was drilled into our heads: do not allow middle. So when I went to Nova, that was a hard adjustment for me. It was like, okay, I've always been taught to force baseline. Now I'm being taught to force middle. And then when I got to BU, it was force baseline again. And like it's a simple concept, like force middle or force baseline. But like when you have done it for 2 years and like every day it's drilled in your head one way, to switch, like there are times that like I'll still make the mistakes and my coach will look at me like, Emily, come on. Like
You ever sit there and wonder like why can't all these coaches just agree? Like, can we force middle? Can we force baseline? Like, why can't we just come to like a standard and everyone just adheres to that? Like, if you were a coach, what would you do? Would you force baseline or force middle?
Oh, I would force baseline for sure. But yeah, like you're saying, I would love, like at Nova, I would ask my coaches, I'm like, so why are we forcing middle?
Yeah.
And then they'd give an answer and I'm like, I don't really agree with that, but we can go with it. It's your program. It's your choice.
They just want to be different. You know, I think some coaches just want to be different to be different. And they say, we're just going to do something crazy that goes against the grain. But so also changing school, changing conference, right? So you're going from Big East basketball to, I don't know, what's BU in?
Patriot League.
Patriot League. Okay. So it's going to be a different look, right? Big East is known for, well, I don't know about the girls side, but the boys side is physical, Big East basketball, rah, rah, rah. What about in the new conference? Is it going to be a different style of play, or what are you thinking?
Well, it's definitely a different style already. Like at Nova, I was 2, maybe 3 in terms of position, where here I'm like 3, 4, which is more like post, mid-range, which I'm fine with. That's like my area.
Yeah.
When I think of being a 4, I'm like, the last time I was a 4 was when I was in high school, and he was the 5 and I was the 4.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. So that's also like a difficult aspect of me having like to shift my mentality and like my play a little bit, because I like to break people down facing them. Whereas like 4, sometimes you have to have your back to the basket, and that is not my game.
But you know what it is too? Like, you know, you joke about how it's like year 4, or was it like year 2 going on year 4 or something like that, where it's been, the game's just changed in that time. Like stretch 4s, like that might not have been a thing when you first started off in like stretch 4s. So like even that's changed like just in your time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you looking forward to most here with the season about to kick off? I mean, there must be a lot of things you're excited for. I'm guessing just playing in general, but is there anything in particular you're looking forward to here?
Honestly, I wouldn't say there's one thing. I think just like getting back into like the groove of playing games, like where I feel like I'm contributing, like as much as I don't know, last year, as much as like you feel part of the team, and like the coaches like did a great job, like allowing me to like, I don't know, build connections with everyone on the team and stuff like that. It's still like that sense of like, I haven't played with these people yet. So I don't know, just being able to play with my teammates and like finally play a game again.
Yeah, absolutely. What's like the routine like for around the program right now? So everyone that I've talked to is like daily testing. So, and is it pretty much like practice, chow hall, dorms? That's it. So like what's the routine for you guys? Like, what are you allowed to do, or what's the day-to-day look like?
That's very similar for us. So like we have testing all the time, and usually we get a schedule of like what time we have to test. Like usually it's before 10 in the morning, so then we can have our results in. And then like, yeah, in terms of, I mean, we practice with a mask on. We pretty much only go from like our dorms to the gym. It's just about like being smart. So it's not like we can't go off campus at all, but it's like being very smart of where you're going, make sure there's not like that many people, always have a mask. So it's definitely, and like Boston is so different right now. Like sometimes I look out there and it's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much right in the city.
What are your thoughts about practicing with a mask? Do you feel like cardiovascularly that you're just on another level right now? Do you think the mask is going to contribute to better endurance, better performance?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it really depends on the day. Like sometimes I feel like this mask is going to kill me because like I'm breathing it in. But I mean, it really isn't. Like I think the whole team has gotten used to wearing it. So like the first couple, I would say like the first like month, it was kind of like how are we going to actually like play with this, practice with this?
Yeah.
And now it's like normal, and like I suppose it's helped us condition a little bit.
That's how I feel too, because like it took me like a while to find a mask that I could run with, because like when they get wet, like you're just sucking in water and you can't breathe through it, right? So in my first couple of weeks working out with it, I couldn't breathe. Like now, like I can't wait to run without a mask just to see like how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah.
So have you played without a mask at all, or was like game day gonna be the first time you play without a mask?
Well, no. So we haven't played like every single practice. We always have a mask on. Yeah. So even when we were doing the conditioning at the beginning, it's like we have a mask on.
That must have been crazy.
That was a real test.
Yeah. Anyone pass out? Anyone have a really hard time? It
No.
just sucks, right? It's painful.
Yes, it's brutal. But I was like, all right, good mental toughness right now.
Yeah. How about just the with the current situation where you can't really go out and do much, it's pretty much just, you know, what we said, like practice, eat, dorm, online classes. Like, do you like that? I know Mackenzie was saying like she has more time to get more work in, like basketball wise.
Yeah.
So she kind of enjoys that part. How do you feel about it?
No, I kind of feel the same. I mean, like when school's going, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm always doing work. Like none of my classes were in person. So I'm sitting at my desk in my room, like always doing work. And then usually I would go right from my room to practice. And that gets a little bit boring. And
Yeah.
like, so sometimes I need a change of scenery. But yeah, I think like the idea of being able to get more shots up, you have more time to do stuff at like productive things, is nice. But I mean, I could always use some more normal.
Yeah. So you must, and that's another nice thing about play starting up. You're gonna be able to travel a little bit and get outside, like go
Yeah.
somewhere else. That's gonna be a nice change, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
So who's favored to win the conference right now? Where were you guys picked?
So we were picked second,
Who's first?
Bucknell, but I won't say anything, but I think we will do well.
So you must be excited because I mean, you guys have a chance to compete for a conference championship. Maybe it's the NCAA tournament. Like, it's going to be exciting. Did you guys make the tournament at Nova?
Yeah, my freshman year, we made the tournament and we got to the second round and we lost to Notre Dame the year they won the national championship.
Man,
Yeah.
who were you matched up with in that game?
Well, it was the starting five of Notre Dame who went to the WNBA that year.
Yeah, they were stacked.
Yeah, so they had like Arike, Mabry, they had, I can't even remember the other three. All I know is we were tied with them at halftime and our coach wasn't necessarily happy about that. And I was like, all right, this is pretty good for us right now. But also one of the Notre Dame girls was injured, or they said she was injured. And then all of a sudden at halftime, they pull her out and she was fine. And I was like, all right, this isn't how we play. So she wasn't on our scouting report.
Yeah.
Needless to say.
All right. Speaking of scouting report and scout teams and stuff like that, you're saying how you were on the scout team last year. Do you actually have a scout team this year, or like is there no one around and pretty much be a scout team? You pretty much stuck just practicing against each other.
Yeah. So we don't really allow anyone from outside. So like even like our male practice players that we used to have, like they don't come in anymore, just to be extra cautious of like, you know, like we get tested all the time and they would have been able to as well. But just in terms of like some of them would live off campus and you can't really, it's kind of like inevitable at that point in Boston that like something can happen. So we just kind of erred on the side of caution for that.
Probably the smart thing to do right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been able to keep tabs on some of your fellow Mainers that are out there hooping right now and doing great things. Everyone keeping in touch, I'm guessing.
Yes. Mackenzie, Anna, and I like talk all the time, or at least like, I mean, I was just on the phone with her, but like checking in, see how each other's doing. I don't know, like I try and catch as many games as possible, but yeah.
And like they've already gotten several games in and we're just waiting on you now. Like you must be just a little bit jealous that they've been able to play and you haven't been able to yet, but your time's coming.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little difficult to watch at first, just the games in general.
Yeah.
Some of my teammates would watch them and I was like, I cannot watch a game. Like let it get a little closer to when we play and then maybe I can handle it. But it really was one of those things where it's like, I'll probably just watch my friends play and not many other teams.
Yeah. And they're doing great. And that's why I can't wait for BU to tip off so we can see the return and all that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let me shake off the rust though, so don't have too high of expectations.
Yeah, and that's something else I wanted to ask you about. So we talked to you like early in the summer. What was the rest of your summer like in terms of getting ready? Like how much work did you put in the summer?
Yeah, it was a lot of like getting, like we had talked about my knee and just the struggles I had with that the previous year. So just in terms of like getting fully healthy and feeling like confident in like my body movements and all that type of stuff. So it's been a lot better, but yeah, it was just about being like very consistent and getting back. Like Mackenzie, Anna, Gracie Martin, all of us would play like down at Saco Sports Zone and stuff. which I think helped me get back into like the competitive nature of playing with a bunch of old teammates.
Yeah, did you play in that game where it was like all the young girls versus like all the vets when everyone, like I think Anna was in there? I don't know if Mackenzie was
Yeah.
in there or not. Did you play in that game?
Yes.
Did you feel like the old person? Do you feel old yet? Now when you go
Oh,
back,
I feel so old. Like half the people on my team call me grandma. One of the girls commented on my post today. She goes, "Grandma finally gets to play." And one of
Yeah.
our freshmen thought I was 23. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of getting to that age now where it's just like, I need to graduate already.
That's okay. Experience helps, right? You've seen it all. You've been through it all. It's okay. But in that game, were there any young girls that kind of stood out? Do you remember anyone? I don't know if you know anyone in particular, but like, is the state of Maine basketball in good hands? Like, are there more girls on the come up?
Yeah, I think there definitely are. I mean, it's cool to see the different styles of play. Like you can see some of them, like I feel like try to mimic their game after like Anna, or some of them try and mimic their game after Kenzie. So it's really cool to see, I don't know, and also just like when they play against each other. Like I know Elise, who plays for Thunder, but like she would play against Anna DeWolfe a little bit. And there's some similarities there in terms of like craftiness. So that was fun to watch, but yeah.
I think the state's in good hands. I think it's just going to continue to go, and it's good. Like they got great role models to look up to, such as yourself, Mackenzie, Anna, everyone doing it. So it's good to see. Last time we talked, we were talking quarantine hobbies, and you were in the books. I think you learned how to ride a unicycle. What else have you picked up over the past year to pass the time here?
Honestly, not much else, which is a little disappointing. But once I got back to school, it was kind of just like I said, that routine. I don't know. I'm trying to like get myself to read again, but I just went through this whole semester where it's like I'm forced to read.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm taking a mental break, I tell myself right now.
What are you going to school for anyway? What's the major?
As of right now, it's public relations, and then hopefully I'll do a master's in coaching or higher education.
I'm going to go back and coach a Gorham, take Lon's job.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be his assistant first if he's still there.
And then also one of my last questions here, you were picked in the fantasy draft. We had a couple weeks ago. Your team was the team that was ultimately voted to win. You guys were stacked. It was you, Anna, Gracie. Who else was on there? I think Maggie Whitmore was on there. I don't know if you saw the roster at all, but based off those names I just said right there, you think the fans got it right by picking your team to win?
Yes, I do. I mean, I want to be on the winning team.
No question about it. I mean, it was a stacked team. I'm not gonna lie. It was a pretty stacked team. I don't know how all you wound up on the same team, but it was impressive. Anything else you want to hit on before we get up out of here? It's just good. It's good to see that you're about to play. Like it's coming up. We're catching you at the right time.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I was gonna say I feel like I don't have much else to add until I play a game or two.
So everyone should tune in and watch this first game, or what? Or wait a couple.
I'm saying wait a couple games. Wait till I shake the rust off, get a couple games under my belt, and then you can watch.
Okay, there we go, and we can watch games. I'm guessing. Actually, maybe like does Nesson carry games or was NBC Sports Boston? I don't know if they carry your games or not, but ESPN Plus for sure, right? It should be on there.
Yeah.
We'll make sure to check those out. Thank you, Emily, for coming through.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, keeping it rolling with the first episode of 2021, checking in with some big timers. And somehow this girl came back bigger, badder, stronger than before the injury, when she was already Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. She's won everything, and she's picked up right where she's left off and built on it. Blanca Milan joining us tonight. Blanca, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So as I just mentioned, off to an incredible start individually and team-wise too. You guys are what, 5-0, 6-0, just some big wins, and you currently 6th in the nation in scoring. What's going on here? What's going on? What can you attribute to the success so far?
I mean, I think the rehab process really helped me a lot, to be focused and stay focused on my goals. And they always say, when you get hurt and it's a big injury, you either come back better or you come back worse. So I did everything I could, everything in my power to come back in the best shape ever. So I really believe that that's helping me right now. And obviously like playing with my teammates, you know, we have so many returners, they have so much experience, and they make it so easy for me. So I think it's a combination.
Yeah. So you mentioned the injuries. So usually when people come back from injury, they may be a little bit tentative and stuff like that. But I mean, you dropped what, 30 in your first game? You've had 30 in the three of the first four, something like that. So I'm guessing like there's no hesitation out there, right? Like once you got back out there, it's like you'd always been out there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, once they told me I was ready to go, you know, I had a lot of faith on the people that got me through the process. You know, my trainers, like all the people. So they said I was ready to go, and I truly believed them. You know, it was like 6, 7, 8 months of a lot of hard work, but I felt good. I felt like as if I was never hurt. So that was a big thing for my confidence, and it definitely helped going through it.
When was the injury actually? Was it been a year since you got hurt, or was it in 2020 that you got hurt?
Yeah, it's been a year. It was November 26th or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, so you've been out for a little while, so you must have just been ready to go, right?
Yeah, I was waiting. I was really waiting for the first game. So
Yeah, and then luckily for you guys, there's still some teams that haven't even played any games yet. But you guys were lucky and were able to get what 5 or 6 games in before the new year here. So you mentioned before we started recording UNH this weekend, so big rival in conference play, and you guys have got some games under your belt, so you got to be feeling good. Like I mean, you guys have already started up conference play, but you must feel good heading into like the thickness of it here because it's going to be more games happening a lot more quicker than first semester, right?
yeah, I mean it's definitely tough. You know, playing back to back is not easy. First game is always better than the second game. The second game you're tired. You know, the other team like really scouts everything to be ready. So it's hard, but as you said, like to get 6 games in times like this is like a blessing. So we're just gonna keep going.
So is that what happened with Hartford? Because I mean, you guys smashed Hartford on day one, and then came back and had to like grind that one out. I was watching, like, what's going on here? And I mean, you guys were losing like with what, a couple minutes to go. So I mean, like, you think that's how it's going to be all conference for long? You think you're going to just be dog fights on the second game of back to backs? You think or what?
I mean, I don't think if every game, but like a lot of them, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like that. You know, the first game, like it wasn't easy either. You know, everyone is ready. Everyone gives us the best shot every single game. And that week, especially, we had 3 games in like 4 days, so
Yeah.
it was a lot of minutes. So I think it's gonna be pretty tough every second game of the conference, but we'll see.
Because normally, what you guys do last year is always like a Wednesday or Thursday game, then like a Saturday or Sunday game, right? It was pretty much like 2 games a week spread out.
Yeah.
Now you're going back to back every week, right?
Yeah, and yes, we have a week to get ready, you know, but the back to back it takes a couple of days to recover. So then you have like 3 days and then again 2 games. So it's like a cycle, but
But one thing that you guys have going for you is all the injuries last year. A lot of your teammates got some experience last year, so you guys got some depth. I mean, you girls are good, right? I mean, you got some people you can bring off the bench. Starting five is good. So, how do you feel as a team right now? I mean, usually it takes some time to gel, but it seems like from game one, like you guys, it seemed like you've been like playing for a while, right?
yeah.
So what can you say about the way the team's playing as a whole right now?
I mean, we've been practicing since the summer, so that definitely helps. And then, as you said, we have 7, 8 returners. You know, some of us we've been playing together for 4 or 5 years, which is a long time. So we didn't have that process of adaptation because we already know each other, and the freshmen clicked in our group very fast. You know, they learn things super fast, and they're doing a great job. So obviously, they make it easier for us too. They keep learning, but our upperclassmen, like, we didn't finish our season last year, so that meant a lot for us. So everyone came back ready to go. You know, everyone, even though we were home for a long time, everyone was working at home as much as they could and doing everything they could during COVID. So that's paying off right now.
You mentioned the hard work, and one of the things you girls were doing is you girls were practicing with masks on, like all summer long and preseason. Are you still practicing with masks, or the mask like practice? Like, is that a done thing now?
No, we still practice with masks on.
But would you contribute that to the level of fitness that you girls are already exhibiting? Because I mean, it seemed like I said, like you guys came right out the gate, and it just seemed like you guys were primed and had been playing for a while. So, can we contribute that to like the mask at all? Is the mask helping with the fitness level?
I truly believe it does, you know, because we run and everything with the masks, and then game day you can play without it. So, you feel like free, it's so much easier to
Yes.
breathe, and like I think it helps, but maybe it's just me.
I think you're right. I started running with the mask on the treadmill like a month ago, and I cannot wait for like summertime just to see like how much easier it is to breathe without a mask. I feel like I'm gonna be in the best shape of my life like come summertime.
For real, it's amazing.
Yeah. So one thing that you girls did miss out on, like you were supposed to kick out the season with a tournament down in Connecticut with Mississippi State. Connecticut was in that tournament, and you guys missed out on that because of there's like a positive test or something like that for one of the teams, right? So, at any point, like at that point in particular, were you like, man, like this might not happen, like this might not actually work out?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, because it was Power Five teams, which you expect them to not have a lot of cases or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, if these teams are canceling a tournament, it's gonna be hard for us to have a whole season, But they say faith is the last thing you lose. So after that, we're just taking it day by day, and we were very positive about our conference happening, especially because we knew how much we were doing for it and how careful we were being. So at some point, yeah, we were like, it's gonna be hard to have a season, but then things got better, so we were pretty positive about it.
You had to be a little bit bummed out though, right? Because I mean, Mississippi State was like number 6. They're like top 10, and then UConn was top 10 as well. So you would have had a chance to play like some of the top schools in the country. Like I'm guessing that would have been a fun way to come back at least, right? Like if you hadn't played in a year, you're probably like, yeah, like I get to come back and play against some top 10 teams. Like you must have been a little bit bummed though, right?
Yeah, it was sad, especially because it's always fun to play big teams to see how they are, to be able to compete at a high level. But can't complain. We got some games in anyway, so next time, I guess.
Yeah, and also that means that the winning streak is still alive, right? So you're at what? I think like 14 in a row or something like that. I have like the 3rd or 4th longest active winning streak in the country right now. All kinds of things going on right now. How do you guys kind of keep focus as we move forward? Because you got the winning streak. You got you doing your things, Player of the Week awards already, and like I said, it's the top 6 scoring in the country. Like, how do you guys kind of maintain focus here as you go into conference play?
I mean, I think when we won back-to-back championships, we learned a lot, especially on taking care of business every single day and forgetting about what happens in weeks before, like obviously, yes, be happy, be proud of yourself, of your team, and know that you're doing a good job, but just putting that aside and like keep building on what we have, because we're a good team, but we can be a great team. So every day what we say is just focus on that day, go to work and do the same thing in game day. Every game it's like a final, so just go out there and do as much as we can the best way we can. So it's hard sometimes because like how the program is and how the conference works and everything, but that's our main goal, to stay focused every day and don't take anything for granted.
So the last time you played a full season, you were part of back-to-back conference championship teams, some great teams. The thing I keep seeing about this team is this team's special, right? This is a special group of girls that you girls got. What is so special about this group? How is this group different than some of the past conference championship teams that you played on?
I just think we really play for each other. You can see the assists in every game. They're always super high. Outside the court and on the court, you just see the chemistry is different. As I said, our sophomores are only sophomores, but it feels like they are seniors. And that happens with everyone in the team. So our returners that have been playing for 4 years together, you can really tell. I don't think we have had that happen before. So it's definitely special. Like we never had such a great start. I mean, preseason was shorter than usually. We only had 3 games, but we have never been 3-0 in preseason. So right. I think little things that they just keep building up on the great team we have.
Someone else who's off to a great start is your roommate in the point guard, Dor. She's off to an incredible start. She's climbing up some of these all-time rankings at the school as well. 3-pointers made, assists. She's climbing those. What can you say about your roommate? What can you say about Dor and just the type of player she is?
As you said, she's great. She's a great player. I don't know if I know someone that works as hard as her, definitely it's great to play with her. She perfectly knows where to put the ball, how to pass the ball, where do you want it. Like, I don't know. It's just so great to have her as a point guard. And, like she knows what she wants and she really works very, very hard to get it. So I just think she's a great point guard, a great team, and a great leader. So it's very cool to play with her.
Absolutely. And she's coming on the podcast too. We got that lined up. It's coming in 2021. Dora's coming on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. So
I like it.
she's gonna be the next Black Bear. Someone else who I've kind of noticed, Abby, right? Abby's taking on a bigger role, and she kind of gives you guys a different look, I feel like. What can you say about her development and what she's kind of brought to the team this year?
I mean, it's really impressive. You know, she's been playing basketball for 3 years, 4 years. So to go from high school to college and do what she's doing, it's really, really amazing. She wants to get better. You know, she's a really, really hardworking person, and all she wants to do is get better. And she does everything she needs to get better. And on top of that, she's a freak. Like, she's a freak athlete. Like, she's very, very strong, you know, and she's learning and starting to understand how that can really help her. So if she keeps working as she's doing right now, she's going to be a great post player for us and for the next couple years. So I'm excited to see her future too.
Me too. I think she just gives you guys a different look, you know, just like someone long at that who can run and just gives you guys a different look. It's exciting. So also we just talked about it before we started recording. The news came out today that you guys are going to start to have some home games finally, right? So what's that going to be like? And does it really make a difference? Because I mean, you've had nothing but road games, but has it felt like road games because there's nobody in the crowd? It's like, what's that atmosphere like?
I mean, it's not as weird because when we play away, there's not many people anyway, you know, like we're used to a lot of people. So in the road, there's never a lot. It does feel weird because there's absolutely no one, but it feels more like a practice, but then, you know, it's a game. So I guess at home is going to be the same thing. You know, it feels great to play here. We're going to play in the pit. We're not used to it, and it's going to be empty, which is going to be weird too. But just the feeling of being home where we practice every single day, I just know it's going to be really, really good for us.
I think so too. So we mentioned conference play coming up. So who got picked? Like, who else is at the top of the America East preseason? Who'd they pick? It's you and Stony Brook?
Yeah, and they're second, I believe.
How you guys feeling heading into the conference play here? I'm guessing you girls feel good right now, just the way the first half of the season's gone. I'm guessing you're just ready to roll through, right? It's conference championship. That's what the goal is, as always, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's going to be tough for sure. We're playing Stony Brook the last game, and it's at their place. So we know it's going to be tough, especially being back-to-back, you know. But as you said, we're really ready to go. We have some unfinished business that we got to take care of. So just going to take care game by game, and then see what happens at the end of the season.
So another thing, too, you got going is this crazy scoring output. And the games I've watched, like you know, they say how much you have, and it's like it doesn't feel like it because it just seems like it's coming on the flow of the game, right? It doesn't seem like you're rushing anything. So what's been the secret here? What's been the secret to this output early on? Currently averaging 26, and like I said, it looks like you're not even trying. So what's the deal here?
I mean, as I said, it's just our offense is just, you know, you just gotta take your time, look at everything. My teammates just make it so easy for me, you know. Yeah, I score the points, but they do so much in order for me to do that. So, I mean, I'm a scorer, obviously, so it doesn't feel like it's a lot, but it's just we work every day on that. They make it easy for me, and then I just do it, you know.
They just do it. That's all it is. Just go out there and just do it. Campus life must be a little bit different right now. Must be very quiet. Do you still have a scout team right now, or are you girls just beating up on each other right now?
We're just beating on each other every day. We have no scout team. There's no one here really, you know, and it was very dangerous. So
so it must be a little bit different for you girls because, you know, normally you have the scout team to beat up on, but you're just beating up on each other. Has that ruined team chemistry at all, or is everyone's pretty much still friendly and good with each other?
The chemistry outside is still very good, you know. There's some days that you just can't see the competitive level, you know, it goes a little bit too high. Everyone's a little bit more aggressive than usual, but it happens, you know. So it's been great. I don't think we have ever competed like this in practice. This year is just really, really, really competitive. So it's really fun to go to practice.
And what did everyone do for Christmas? I'm guessing most everyone stuck around. You got a lot of foreigners who probably can't travel anyway. So what was Christmas like for the Black Bear women's team?
Definitely was a little bit weird, you know. As you said, the Americans, they all went home, and then it was just us Europeans here. Usually they have family here, Europeans, but they couldn't. So we just, hang around, nothing special. We had lunch, dinner together. It was like a normal day for us, but we got to do what we got to do. So
Stay focused, right? Just stay focused and win, win, win.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward most to your second half of the season?
Just keep it up, big goals for the team, for myself individually. So just stay focused, do as much as I can in order for my team to win and get the ring that we won, obviously. So just keep working really, really hard, never lose focus, and just keep winning.
Absolutely. And when's the next game? You mentioned it's this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And folks that want to watch, if you haven't watched, you need to watch because this team, as I said, is special. They're a lot of fun to watch. I'm guessing they're probably going to be on ESPN Plus this weekend, or maybe local TV might be carrying it too. So if you get a chance, check out these girls. They're unbelievable. Very special team. Anything you want to talk about before we get up out of here? Did I miss anything? Anything you want to touch on before we get up out of here?
Not really. I think
that's it. Nothing else. Just win, right? Just work and win. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy individual in the midst of a great season and part of something special. I can't wait personally to watch the rest of the season here. So I wish you the best of luck as we hop into conference play. This is a fun time of the year. The only thing that sucks is that can't go watch. I was hoping we were going to be at games at the Cross Insurance Center this winter, but it doesn't look like it. But we're going to be watching on TV at least and checking you girls out. Thank you, Blanca.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, keeping the first episode of 2021 rolling with another Black Bear. We got Lexi Middelstadt joining us from the dorms.
Yes.
Dorm life right now.
Dorm life.
So we were just talking before we started recording here. Didn't get to go home. Stuck on campus, but I'm guessing you guys made the best of it.
Yep.
And what has this freshman season been like for you anyway? Last time we checked in was what? It was back in the summer at some point the last time we had you on. How have you adjusted to college life?
It's been great. It's been a great start so far. I mean, I love it here.
What about so you've adjusted well, classrooms, basketball schedule, all that? It's all been smooth. It hasn't been like a difficult freshman year?
I mean, I don't know what a typical freshman year looks like.
Yeah, true.
So to me, this is, I guess, normal because this is all I know. But I mean, it's been interesting, that's for sure. I think the hardest part is just navigating with COVID.
Yeah. So, and that's the question I've been asking pretty much everyone that I've had on for this episode is like, what is the COVID routine for you guys? How often do you guys get tested and what's that like?
We get tested daily.
Are you comfortable with the test? Are you just kind of past that? Because I know I've been tested a couple of times and it's not a very pleasant experience, but I don't know if it's changed since in terms of how you get tested, but
yeah, it's pretty much an everyday thing now. So we're pretty used to it.
So what's typical routine like for you right now? Because you're on Christmas break, so no classes to worry about. So it's pretty much just basketball at this point. But I mean, you're also stuck to a dorm room. So what's the routine like for you right now?
I get to sleep in. I get to sleep in, go to practice, go to the dining hall, hang out with the team, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So you pretty much just allowed to hang out with teammates and that's it?
Yeah, it's the life.
So, I mean, that could go two ways, right? It could be great. It could bring you guys closer together, or you guys could just be sick of each other. But I'm guessing you guys all get along for the most part, right?
Yeah, we're a really close team, so we don't have any issues with that.
And then also a lot of your teammates are international kids who would have been stuck here probably anyway for the holidays. You got no reason to be homesick because you're right down the road. But are you homesick? What's this been like for you being away from home?
It's tough. It's definitely tough, especially around the holiday time, like Thanksgiving. I couldn't go home. Christmas, couldn't go home. So that's tough. Definitely miss my family, but sometimes we'll meet halfway and do, a social distance lunch with masks on.
Just the typical norm, right? That's normal.
It's just normal. That's how you hang out with your family.
Yeah. So how are things going basketball wise here? So we mentioned on the last episode we did going from Mount Blue, Division I basketball. What's this transition been like for you? I mean, you're part of a very, 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 very great team. I've watched two of the games, and I'm loving it. So what's it been like for you, the transition here?
I've obviously loved it, but I don't think I can compare high school basketball to this. Like, there's just no comparison. Definitely a big jump, It's weird. You know, I played for a team that generally didn't win much of anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm part of a winning team, and it's a great feeling.
And then also too, you're kind of just starting over, right? So you went from being the big dog, being the senior, being
Yeah.
the girl, and now kind of starting over. So like, how's that been for you? Where now you're fighting for playing time, fighting just to get in the rotation. Like, what's that been like for you?
It's honestly been great learning from the upperclassmen. Like, you know, think about it. We got Blanca back, we got Fani back, and then the other seniors. Like, it's amazing to learn from them and to watch them and see how they play. And it's honestly been pretty cool.
So being a freshman, is there any freshman hazing going on? And I should be careful
No.
with the term hazing because
No.
frown upon that, but they don't make you like carry bags or do anything crazy, nothing like that.
I mean, like we'll make sure the waters are out for practice or lifts. You know, freshmen are normally in charge of the stool for games, the board for games,
Yeah.
the heart rate monitors, the projector, but that's an easy duty.
So
No.
you've adjusted okay, that they're treating
Yeah.
you okay. And
Yeah,
you're the only main kid, right?
Yeah.
Do you get favoritism for that? Do you get treated a little bit differently being the only main kid?
No, not really.
Okay, that's good to know. So I also wanted to wonder this. So I know you busted your ass this summer to get ready for it. Did you prepare enough? Like, do you feel prepared? Like, are you happy with where you're at, or do you think you could have went harder, should have went harder? Like, how do you feel? How prepared were you, and were you prepared enough for what this is all about?
Honestly, it's a lot different than what I expected.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my first time training this summer. It was crazy to hear the coaches say, slow down. Like, that was so weird for me because, you know, you're a high school player, you're playing AAU and you're thinking, oh, D1, it's so fast. But it's not as fast as people might think. So it was interesting for me to hear, okay, slow down. All right, focus on your footwork, or like that type of stuff. Like, it's all like fundamentals and breaking things down and making it perfect.
And then also the huge adjustment too is just like time management, right? So you got a lot more in terms of commitment and being part of the program. So how have you adapted in that regard? Probably not as much free time as you had in high school, right? Just probably just boom, 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 boom all day long. So what's that been like?
At first it was definitely an adjustment for me, like the whole scheduling aspect of it. Like that was tough at first, just to find like the consistency. But then after a while you get used to it. Like, it turns into, especially with COVID, it turns into this like everyday thing. All right, get up, all right, eat breakfast, go to the gym, practice, lift, treatment, then, you know, back to the dorms, get dinner. So now I have consistency, but at first it was interesting trying to work through it all.
What about like game day routine? Also a lot different than Maine high school basketball, right? So you're traveling and there's a lot more that goes into it, probably game planning, film stuff that you probably didn't have to deal with before. What's that been like for you? And do you enjoy film? I know it's kind of like a hate or love thing. How do you feel about film?
So for me, this is kind of crazy, but I never watched film in high school, like with the team. Like, I would watch my game film on my own and kind of like watch myself and like break it down a little bit. But being in college, it's like breaking down everything, like your defense, offense, you know, just the little things that you never would think of. And so that's been pretty cool. Like, the whole film aspect of it, I actually think it's pretty cool to watch.
There you go. Great tool for all the kids out there. Film can be a good thing.
And especially for me, where I need to learn a lot of things. I obviously need to take this year and, you know, really absorb all that I'm being taught.
Yeah. So also being the freshman too, you're prone to make mistakes, right? It's bound to happen. So in practice, when Coach Fashon gets mad and she blows the whistle, she says, "Damn it, Lexi." What is she just saying damn it for? What did you do? What did she get mad at?
I would say like little things. I would say involving either defense or like offensive stuff, because there's a lot to our offense. And there's also little things that you need to be aware of in the offense. Like, maybe you don't have the ball in your hands. Like, there's stuff you have to do off ball that you need to remember. And so I'd say like those little things, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, and what about like defensively too? Because it's a huge adjustment going from playing high school ball where you probably don't have to worry about defense. You can get by with just being the point getter and stuff like that. So what's it like having like a real commitment to defense? And I'm guessing learning a lot of things too, right? In terms of system you guys run and the different things you guys do. Like that's probably been a huge learning curve, I'm guessing.
Basketball wise, defense has been my hardest adjustment. Hands down. That's been the most difficult thing for me because there's so many defensive tendencies that I was never taught. And it's crazy to me. Like I'm learning all these defensive things. I'm like, wow, I have never been taught this. And so that was pretty crazy for me. And that has definitely been the hardest adjustment is defense. But it's getting better every day.
Are you learning to like defense?
Honestly, yes, I am. Just because you have to focus on it so much. And like I've learned that if I hate defense, if I think about it negatively, I'm just going to dread it and I'm going to hate it. But in practice, we do defense a lot. So I've definitely learned to love it more.
And also it's probably a way to get playing time, right? Because if you're coming in as a freshman, like you just want to carve out a role, just anything you can contribute in order to get playing time, and defense is probably a great way to do so,
Definitely.
Right?
And also it helps like defensively, I'm playing against some of the best players. So in a way, it's really good for me this year to learn from that because, I'm defending the America East champs for the past, few years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of my questions was going to be, who have you had the pleasure of being matched up with in practice? Because I'm guessing you're probably on the second team, first team got your start. Who do you normally get stuck matched up with?
Pretty much everyone. I mean, not the post players, but like you pretty much get a chance to guard everyone in drills.
Is there someone who you just go head to head with and just, it's real personal at times? It gets a little intense. No?
No. Nope.
So you clearly paid attention to the program because, I'm guessing you liked Maine, and that's why you went there. So I'm guessing you kind of followed them before you actually got there. Who's who's someone that is better than you thought, or just a little bit better than you anticipated before getting there, watching from afar, but now actually being there? Who's maybe just a little bit better than you thought they were?
Probably either Blanca or Dor. Like we all know Blanca's insane, but like actually watching her, it's like, wow. Like just watching her ability, like to finish at the rim and just her decision making. Like now that I understand the offense and the decisions that go into it, like watching how she makes decisions out of the offense is really, really cool.
And you guys are getting ready for conference play here. So you guys played a couple of games against Hartford before Christmas and now really jumping into it. What are you most excited about jumping into conference play here for your first time?
It'd be pretty dope to have an undefeated season.
Yeah.
Freshman year, that'd be pretty dope. Yeah.
And then also too, you guys just found out you get to start playing some home games too, right? So you guys are going to be hosting in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be where, in the pit?
Yeah.
That'll be fun. That's like a real home court advantage right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love the pit.
What's the road atmosphere has been like for you with no fans? Has it been a little bit odd, or do you just not really pay attention to it?
Yeah, it's odd. It's really odd. I remember the first game, I was like, wow, this is really, really, really weird. And the bench, how the bench is set up too, that's weird. But, it's fun. I still, everything's fun, I think.
So in your first game, right? So you guys played Providence, a Big East team, your first game, and it's your first like D1 experience. And it was a close game, or it was a good game. Like, what were you thinking on the bench? Were you into it? Like, you must have been just like,
oh yeah, I'm into it. I'm definitely really enthusiastic on the bench.
Yeah, and that's also another adjustment though, right? Because you go from being in high school, being the star, getting minutes to now having to carve a role and just trying to crack the rotation. Like, has that been difficult at all, or are you kind of adjusting well?
Going into this year, I kind of told myself, like, find your role, figure out what it is, and someday you're going to be on the court. Like I knew this year coming in, it wasn't going to be like I was going to be playing a lot. I knew I wasn't going to be contributing as much as I, would love to. But I think for me, it's being positive with myself and just knowing, like, keep learning. Watch players like Blanca, watch players like Dor, see what they do, and learn from them. And I think that's been important for me in like regards to staying positive and, you know, learning.
And you're good, right? You're happy, you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it.
And then you got some playing time in the Hartford game. I saw that, but there was one thing missing, and I had to ask the question when I had you on because
The headband.
What's up with the headband? The headband was
The
missing.
headband. I know.
What's
I
going
know.
on?
Well, the first game I had my blue headband on, and we were blue that game, but the ref came up to me and said, "Is that going to be mistaken as a black headband?" So I had to take it off. So then I was like, wait a second, I haven't really had a headband since the first game. So what if I just continue that?
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
So if you guys lose eventually at some point, maybe go back to the headband. once
maybe
it
go back to
becomes-
the headband. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe like upperclassmen were like, no, we're not doing headband. I wasn't sure if it was one of those things or not, but I'm glad we got it cleared
No.
up.
Yeah.
Anything else before we get up out of here? Just wanted to check in real quick. Like I said, I've been watching as many games as I can, and what UNH this weekend, right?
Yeah.
So anything else you want to touch on before we get up out of here? Anything at all?
No.
Good, huh? Just gonna get back to that dorm life. Get back
Yep.
to the good
Yep,
times in the
yeah,
dorm.
back to it.
All right. Well, thank you, Lexi.
Yeah. Thank you.